Welcome back to this week's Pick'em. Your boy Lance Cossack, Sports Insider Football Guru. After 10 weeks, 104 wins on the year. Who else you know averaging 10 wins plus a week? Jumping right into it. I already gave one away this week. Thought the Chiefs would come through and do their thing. Thought they'd have the Raiders. Thought they were contenders, not pretenders. And the Raiders bit them. I did say be careful. The Raiders will bite someone in the AFC West this year. Don't let it be you. And the Chiefs didn't listen. Next up on the list, first game we got moved. We got Buffalo. We're supposed to host New York. 8 feet of snow. People dying. They caved it. They moved the game to Detroit on Monday night. I think that's advantage Jets having that game moved. Something tells me Buffalo needed that home game, needed that home crowd. Really needed to get that in. Jumping right along in the list, Tampa Bay at Chicago. This used to be a toilet bowl game in the early 80s before the Monsters of Midway got there. And after, they were still banging in the same division for a long time. Tampa's always been a toilet bowl type team. Chicago has some issues. Trestman's probably gone after the year. I don't see any way he keeps his job. Fans of Chicago overwhelmingly said they're done, especially after the back-to-back 50-point give up. They did pull it off last week against Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead and take Cutler and the Bears to beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay went into Washington last week and shocked the Redskins. Not much of a shock, but that's it for Tampa. They're about done. Cleveland at Atlanta. Very interesting game. Cleveland was playing some of the best football in the NFL, and then Houston dismantled them last week. Now they go on the road to Atlanta, and Atlanta's still in this division. Atlanta's still in this division, and that's one of my picks from worst to first. They have the offense. They have Roddy White. They have Julio Jones. They are moving the ball well. The line is holding up. The defense is coming around, and Atlanta plays well at home. I gotta ride with the Falcons. My ATL insider tells me they're in beast mode this week, so they're trying to do it big time. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Falcons over Cleveland in a mild upset. But you gotta go with the home team in this one. Definitely think that's a huge thing. Cincinnati goes to Houston. Huge game. Playoff implications. AFC North division on the line. Is Cincinnati the contenders we thought they were? They're finally getting healthy. This defense is starting to play well. They look like they're coming off of that abysmal streak there where people were questioning the $96 million A.J. Dalton. Andy Dalton is a winner. He plays good football. I'll go ahead and take Dalton pulling this upset off in Houston, despite J.J. Watt possibly being the MVP candidate. I gotta ride with Cincinnati. Giovanni Bernard in that running game. AJ Green finally healthy. Andy Dalton finally throwing the ball well. They look like they're turning it around. And they're still leading that division by percentage points. They really, really need a big win. Pittsburgh has the pressure on them. This is where I think you're going to see if Cincinnati's contenders or pretenders. I'm riding Cincy in a tough 20-17 type battle. Green Bay into Minnesota. I got a Minnesota insider who keeps trying to tell me this team was going to do something this year. I told him between him and the Raiders, they'd be lucky to have 10 wins, probably closer to half of that. They made their mark at half of that. I don't think they get much more. I think Green Bay rolls them up. It's a division game, though, so I'm not going to give Green Bay credit and say they're going to come out and score 50 again. Green Bay's playing the best football in the NFL right now. They may have hit their peak too soon. We'll see if it transfers into wins in the playoffs, because that's what matters. But right now, Green Bay is not the team you want to face. And definitely looking forward to next week, Green Bay, New England. Some say it's a Super Bowl preview, so we'll have to get that in. Tell you how we feel about that next week. But right now, Green Bay over Minnesota rather handily, 28-13. Give it to them there. Detroit, the Lions, the first place NFC North Lions, travel to New England to take on AFC leading New England Patriots. And the Patriots are just tough at home. They're coming in. They've had time to prepare. They're on a massive win streak. Just blew away the Colts last week. Ever since Denver kind of laid down in New England, New England appeared to be the best team out there right now. And they're hitting on all cylinders. Got to give Brady credit. Gronkowski's huge difference maker for them. They're getting production out of the running game, and the defensive young ones are making a lot of tackles for Bill Belichick. It's pretty good to see. New England is doing exactly what they should. I think that they beat Detroit. I think it's an uglier game than most think. And Dominican Sue in that defensive line, Oh, you put enough pressure on Brady, things can change. So look for this to be a good game. Come down to the wire. I'm going to take New England 16-9, sort of like they beat the Raiders. Really ugly game. And we're going to go there. Tennessee at Philly. Up until Philly got beat up by Green Bay, you could have said that Philly was one of the better teams in the league. Your sports insider needs a little bit of water. But after the beatdown, they haven't looked so well. People are questioning, are they that good? Tied with Dallas for first place in the NFC East. And things are on the line. We have the big Thursday showdown, Dallas and Philly, on Thanksgiving Day. Are we looking ahead? Are we focused on where we need to be? Tennessee can bite you. They almost bit Pittsburgh last week. I think that was it on the short week. I don't think Tennessee can go into Philly, do much. And I think on the long week for Sanchez, Kelly can get him right. Kelly can correct enough things to get by this Tennessee team. Is Mark Sanchez back to being the Sanchez? No, no, no. Those days are over. Went away with a butt fumble in New York. But Philly will win this game, and they'll beat Tennessee 24-19. And a game that the touchdown at the end will only make it closer. Jacksonville at Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis has to get right and has to serve Jacksonville. They beat them rather handily the first time around. Let Jacksonville back in the game late. You don't want to do that again. Indy really has to lock down that defense and prove that they're the AFC South best team in the division. And that should be a handy victory over Jacksonville. Jacksonville has Denard. Boy, the running back, ex-quarterback from Michigan, is getting it done there in Jacksonville. Watch out for this guy. He's got a future there. I'm going to take Indy in this one, though. I look for Luck to get right, have over a 300-yard game, do his thing. I look for that Indy defense to look better against Jacksonville, obviously, than they did last week against New England. They didn't seem to play fast at home. Normally, they play a little faster at home on Lucas Oil Field. So we'll look for them to get back to that this week over Jacksonville, definitely. St. Louis goes into San Diego after a huge upset of the Broncos last week and been playing well. St. Louis is playing some of the best defense in the league the last 6 weeks. They're not getting the credit for it. May not show up in the stats, but they're doing big, big things. Now they're going to take that show on the road into San Diego. And I think San Diego finds a way to win this tough home game. But AFC West-wise, playoff-wise, for the dreams of the Charger fans, you need to win this game. And I think they get it done. I think Antonio Gates finds a way to have a couple touchdowns. Huge from Philip Rivers. He's going to need that moving forward. Seems to lost his confidence, especially the way Miami broke him a few weeks back. Look for San Diego to get on the right road here. We have Arizona goes into Seattle. Matchup of the day, maybe. The best team in football record-wise, Arizona, goes into the Flubber Field. I'm telling you, they're the last team that won in the Flubber Field last year before this stretch of crazy things this year. Dallas got a win there. Seattle isn't playing well. Seattle's coming off of a tough loss where they physically got handled by the Chiefs. We're going to see exactly where that leaves Seattle. I got Seattle winning this home game, 22-20, but it's not going to be pretty. It's definitely not going to be pretty. We have Washington at San Francisco. Washington couldn't even beat Tampa Bay at home last week. I'm not going to discount them 100%, but San Francisco, this is a get-well game. And if you use it to get well, you really give yourself a push moving forward into the playoffs. Definitely think so on that. Our Sunday night game, the Cowboys, after a week off, go to play the Giants. And Tom Coughlin's got to be on his way out. An entire new regime has to come in there and turn this thing around. Eli is not to blame for all the trouble. Yes, he had 5 picks last week. 3 of them were tipped. 2 were his fault. These things happen. When you throw the ball in tight spaces in the NFL, it gets tipped. Chances are it's going to get picked. He doesn't have receivers. He doesn't have anybody making plays. You have to give him some credit for the receivers that have left and not done anything since. Eli's a better quarterback than he's given credit for. In the end, you got rid of the coach, the offensive coordinator, get a whole new regime in there, and let's just rebuild this whole Giants thing. But the Giants are going to have a tough time against Dallas. I think Dallas is having the time off. DeMarco Murray is going to come in and put up his usual over 100. Dallas fans will be screaming that they're back. They're counting it like it's a playoff win. Not yet. You got to win them in January. But you get one win closer this week. I think you go ahead and blast them. Monday night, Baltimore, New Orleans. A tough game because The Saints have not been playing very good. The way they got blown out at home by Cincinnati last week really leaves me on end. Baltimore, up and down this year. This is a playoff contention team. Can they go on the road and win in New Orleans? In the Dome, baby, under the Monday night lights? Gotta ride with the Saints. And finally, Denver, baby. You know it's Bronco country. We having a fish fry tomorrow. Fish fry Sunday. Get it in. Denver's going to win this game 38-20 in a game that's not going to be as easy as we make the score look. You know how we do it, Mile High. It's your boy. It's the one and only Lance Cossack, sports guru extraordinaire, baby. And I love y'all. And I'm out.